Hello Pisces, Elsie here to do your reading for the week ahead. How are you, Pisces? Thank you so much for clicking here. I appreciate you. I'm throwing these on the weekend, but of course my readings are always for the week ahead. So whether you get this today, tomorrow, or next year, it could resonate with you. It is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate for everyone. But thanks for stopping in here, Pisces. If you're my ride or die and you're always back, I appreciate you coming back here. And Pisces, if you are brand new, welcome. Thanks for stopping in here and giving this a try. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you guys how to get the extended. I'm also going to tell you about a new sale I just put on for readings, private reads. Let's find out what's going on for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. We've got the heart chakra. All right, what's going on with the heart chakra? Tell me about Pisces. Tell me about Pisces. We've got take time out. It feels like there's a decision that needs to be made here. Take time out. Yeah, this is card number 9, and this is giving me the energy of something is about to end. So there's going to be a decision that I feel is going to be one that you're going to have to make, like with the heart space, the heart chakra, and it's saying take time out. Feels like take time out to hibernate, be by yourself, do your own thing, because there is a cycle that's about to come to an end here, and I feel like it is something that is going to be, it's like it involves the heart space, I'm going to say. Tell me more about Pisces. We've got school. There is a lesson to be learned here. Yeah, card number 9 tells me there is a cycle that is very close to ending, and I feel like you're going to be learning some sort of a lesson as this cycle closes. I feel like it's a lesson of the heart space. Bottom of the deck, we have the shadow, which is the moon energy. Very interesting, because it's like it feels like with the moon energy that there is something here that you're maybe not quite aware of. Things are not as they seem, I would say. We've got moving on. Yeah. I was feeling that there is something here that you're moving on from, because when we get to the 9s, the 10s are the end of the cycle. And so the cycle begins again after that. And it feels like you're moving on from something that you never thought you'd move on from. Things are not as they seem. So if there is somebody that you are dating, or maybe you have a best friend or a friend group, or it feels like something is about to change because you've learned a lesson. You're coming to the end of some sort of a lesson here. And the vulture only shows up when things are dead. I'm just going to say the vulture shows up to pick over the bones, right? An important part of the ecosystem, very important part of the ecosystem is that the vulture shows up to pick over the bones so the bones can go back to the earth and we can start again. So the vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. So listen, it feels like there is a cycle that's coming to an end here for you, Pisces, and it's supposed to, because it's supposed to teach you a lesson here. It does say classroom learning, knowledge acquisition. So it feels like you're supposed to learn a lesson here. There's a lesson to be learned. And when the vulture shows up, oh, that's a 9 as well. Look, we're in the 9s, right? When the vulture shows up, it's because something has already died and the vulture is showing up to pick over the bones. So it feels like something has been dying for a while. Maybe it's your job. Maybe you've just had enough of your job. We'll pull some tarot and find out what's going on here. But we've got the hotel. It says hospitality, comfortable stay, traveler's retreat, and we've got the casino, gambling, excitement, card tables, jackpot moments, and betting and odds. Yes, that's what this does feel like. It feels like you are about to bet the odds. You are about to make a decision, and it feels like it's a decision whereby you're going to have to cut one thing out in order to get the other thing. And I feel like you never thought you would ever have to come up to this. Like it feels like you thought it would never come to this, that I would have to make a decision. And I think that you will make the decision that's best for your heart, but also understand that I think that it's something that's been dying for a while and the vultures are circling, ready to pick off the bones. So it does feel like the decision you make will be a decision that is comfortable for you, but I also feel like you're betting the odds. You're like, I got to pick one of these. It feels like a decision of some sort. I've got to pick one or the other. All right, let's get some tarot out, get some details on it here for you, Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Oh yeah, we got a new deck here. The new deck is called Forest Tarot Cards is what it's called. It's really pretty, very pretty. It's all green. I happen to like green. Just going to cut one more time. I'm a Taurus, and that's the color of Taurus. All right, let's find out what's going on here. Tell me about Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me what's going on with the heart chakra. We've got the Eight of Cups. Well, whew, gosh, that sort of just echoes what I was talking about, right? It feels like you are disconnecting your heart chakra from one thing, but it does feel like something you've had it connected to for a while. But I feel like the cycle is coming to an end. The vultures are circling, and it's time. It's time for it to come to an end. I feel like you've learned all that you can learn here. Tell me about the brown bear spirit, please. The tower is there. There we go. Yeah. You are walking away from something, and it is going to cause a shift. It is going to cause a tower. I was having a conversation with somebody about the tower the other day, and they were saying that maybe I was minimizing the power of the tower by saying that the tower always comes for mercy. But I feel like the tower does come for mercy, because it's not fun going through the tower. It's always a bit of a shit show, right? It's always something that's shifting, and we don't necessarily want the illusion to fall, because the illusion is the place where we can be most comfortable. But I feel like this tower is coming down for a reason, and it feels like you have learned a lesson. It's like you're Alice in Wonderland, and you're outgrowing your space. You're getting bigger and bigger, and it can no longer contain you here. What's the lesson? Tell me about the lesson. And I think that's the reason the tower is falling, because we're at the 9 and we're ready for a change, a new cycle. And it's time to disconnect or detach from the heart space in order to make a decision of some sort on something that you know was dying for a while already. We do have the 4 of Swords, and then the healing comes. I feel like there is some sort of a decision that you're making here. Let's talk about the 8 of Cups and the heart chakra. I feel like you are trying to disconnect from the heart space in order to make this decision, that it needs to be a head over heart decision. I really do feel like with the 8 of Cups here, Pisces, that you've outgrown a situation. There's something here that you're just settling for at the present moment, whether that's a job or a relationship or a friendship or a friend group. It feels like you're just settling for it now. You know that it's time to go, but you're not ready to take a step away yet. I think that the week ahead is finally the time where you take this step away. We have the 2 of Pentacles. You've been juggling. Should I, shouldn't I? It feels like you've been juggling, keeping yourself busy, I feel, in order to say, I just don't have time to make that decision right now. But understand that that is why the tower shows up, because it's something we've put on the back burner that we don't want to decide, and it's now become an obstacle in our way going toward the next path. And so when the tower falls, it's really to show you what is on the other side of the path, right? We see there's a path leading up to the tower. There's something on the other side, and we can't see it. And I feel like there is something here that you're supposed to see. I think it's the lesson. We've got the King of Swords. There it is, head over heart, like I said. I need to make this decision without getting my feelings involved, because I've outgrown, excuse me, I've outgrown the situation. And it's time for me to make the final swipe with the sword here. We've got the 2 of Swords. The decision is yours. Decision is yours, but it's also a hard decision to make. I've never really seen a 2 of Swords that didn't have somebody who was covering their heart space. Somebody here, I feel, with 1 sword up and 1 sword down means, yes, I want one of these things and the other thing is done. That's what I'm getting from here. There's also 3 swords here with the 1 in the hand of the king. Pisces, I feel like you're going to be making a decision to cut someone out of your life or a situation or change jobs. It feels like it's a really big shift that's coming. in the middle of the week, and I feel like the shift shows up when you're not expecting it, because it is something that I feel you've left on the back burner for a while. You need to take a little bit of time out to decide what you're going to do here. It feels like that this cycle is closing whether you want it to or not. The tower is falling. It's something that you haven't been able to decide on. So maybe you're in a relationship that no longer works for you, and you just don't want to say goodbye. It could be because things are tied up in pentacles. The 2 pentacles is here. I feel like you're trying to get balanced in the mind with the King of Swords here. The King of Swords is making the best decision for everyone involved. So I feel like you're pulling the plug on something that someone else doesn't want you to pull a plug on. And you're the one that's making the decision here. It's what's best for your heart space. But I also feel it's going to break somebody else's heart as you walk away. Tell me what the Tower is here. We've got the King of Pentacles. It feels like the difference between going back to the past and taking the road forward. So if you need the lesson, the thing is I feel like you've got the lesson though, because the school is here. I always say to you guys, look, if you need the lesson, go back there. If you already learned the lesson, that's when we choose to just move forward. And I feel you've already got the lesson, but you don't want to leave. And so I feel like the King of Pentacles is here with the Tower to try and steady you as the Tower falls. We've got the 3 of Pentacles here. You are going to build a new foundation here. You are moving into a cycle that is with a group of people or a community or maybe one other person that is collaborative and cooperative. There is a new path that's opening in front of you here. And it's time to head down that new path. And I feel like, there's stairs here, right? It looks like it's a very organized space. I would say that when we're in the forest, it's not always, I got my left ear is buzzing here. We're not always in a place where there's even terrain. But I'm going to say it looks very curated here. It feels like you found the right path, because when you are on the right path, it's easier than when you're not on the right path. We've got the Fool in the reverse. Okay, so when the Fool is in the reverse, there is a new beginning that's coming regardless, because when the major arcana show up, the major arcanas are the only ones that you don't have a choice in. The only choice you have is to how to react or respond when the majors show up. The majors are telling us this is happening. How are you going to deal with it? So the minor arcanas are how you're going to deal with it. I feel like when this Tower comes, I feel like you're going to deal with it in a very stable and sturdy manner. I feel like you are carrying on to a path forward, but I feel like you've been on this, in the situation, whatever the situation is for you, you've been in this situation that I feel you've outgrown long ago, but you won't go. So I feel like when the Tower shows up, you're going to try and stay stabilized. It does really feel like the Tower is falling and you're going to have to rebuild. But with the Fool in the reverse, I feel like you're just going for it. I don't think you have a plan. I don't think that you know where you're going from here. I feel like if you're quitting a job, you might go out in a blaze of glory. You might not give any notice. If it's a relationship, you might just call that person and say, look, I've just rented a hotel for the month. I'm not coming home. Like, it feels like something that you do that it's like, I can't anymore. I can't do this thing anymore. So we've got the 4 of Swords, which is healing energy, and we've got the School. I feel like you spend probably the end of the week going into the weekend next weekend trying to heal and understand what you have learned. Because I think that you saw the vultures circling. I think that you saw the vultures circling and it was time to take a deep dive, but I think that you avoided taking a deep dive into this relationship, card 6, right? That you avoided it. I don't think you wanted to deal with it. Yeah, and a 9. Tell me about the 4 of Swords and the School, please. It feels like you come to a realization that stabilizes the mind. You learn the lesson, and so it's time to go. We've got the 6 of Pentacles. We've got the Empress. Oh boy, yeah, you've moved out of a vibration, friend. That's what it looks like. You're leveling up here, and whomever it is, or whatever it is, or whatever the situation is, I feel like you're graduating, and there's somebody else here who's being held back. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. It's because you've worked really hard. You've worked really hard at leveling yourself up. The Empress is here. So however you've worked really hard to level yourself up, I did this to myself as well when I was in the corporate world. It was like I was leveling up, and then there was no place to go after that. And so I knew that I had to leave, but how was I going to do that? I feel like you don't have a plan when you do it, quite honestly. I feel like you, in the middle of the week, you're like, I'm just not doing this anymore. I don't care how this turns out. I don't care, but it feels like you've learned the lesson, because the Eight of Pentacles is here. And Virgo doesn't miss a damn thing, right? Virgo doesn't miss anything. It feels like there's something that you've been overthinking, getting all the details on. You know, you got all the pie charts, the whiteboard. You've figured it all out. You just had to take the leap. And I think that you take a leap in the middle of the week. And I think that the reason that you do is because as the Empress, you're stepping out of an old you and into a new vibration. And it's time for you to heal. It's time for you to give reciprocal energy to yourself. And it's time for you to work on the self. And so it feels like you're leaving something behind that was draining. It was a draining force for you. And I feel like the vultures had been circling for a while. The card number 18 is here, which is the moon. Things weren't as they seemed. And I feel like you're like, I'm just booking a hotel for a month and I'm just going to stay here until things blow over. And it might not be that particular scenario for you, but it's like, I've just got to get away from there. I don't care what happens from here. I'm taking my leap of faith. I'm going to put down 3 cards here, and then we're going to go into the extended. We'll talk about those 3 cards, but we're also going to clarify a lot of this because we still don't have many details. So, I just wanted to tell you that you can go into the extended by going into my membership area if you're interested in watching the extendeds there. They are between usually about 10 and 15 minutes. You're getting a whole nother reading there. You get 4 of those extendeds in a month based on, you know, if you watch for 1 sign, you get 4. If you watch for 2 signs, you get 8. So based on whatever it is that your needs are. You can also purchase this outright if you'd like to just watch this one extended. There is a link up there. And then I have a new sale on. So I have sales on pre-recorded readings. The sale is from the 15th of October until the 31st. Happy Halloween. There is a code that you will need to get your 10% off of your pre-recorded readings. I also have between 5 and 75% off my live readings. And so if you're interested in a live reading, please go take a look at, I've added new packages as well. Some new packages for pre-recorded readings. And so if you're interested then in that, please go take a look. You'll need the code in order to get your 10% off. Let's put down 3 cards, see what else we're talking about as we go into the extended. We've got the Queen of Pentacles, okay. We've got the Justice card, and we've got the 9 of Cups. Look, it does feel like, for those of you who this is a relationship that I'm talking about, I feel like you are done with playing it small. The King of Pentacles is here, and the Queen of Pentacles is here. It does feel like you're done playing it small, and you are just looking for someone who mirrors you. You've realized that it's time to go. The Justice card is here, and when it's here, everything comes into a place of harmony. And we finally make the decision that is best for us. Maybe it's legally for some of you. Maybe you need to get a legal divorce. It feels like it's going to cause legal issues, possibly. But the 9 of Cups is here, and it does tell me that after everything gets balanced, after everything maybe plays out in the courts or plays out legally, or maybe after everything comes back into balance, that also your emotions come into alignment here. So we're going to talk more about this and what that means. We've got the King and the Queen of Pentacles here. It does feel like you are possibly leaving something or someone behind in order to go somewhere to someone or something, a situation that mirrors you best. It's for the best, yeah, I would say, because you're moving into a new vibration and there's no way that you can be contained anymore. We do have the Page of Swords in the reverse. So it does feel like you have a hard time making this decision. Maybe you might need more information. For some of you, you might not do it next weekend. Maybe it's the weekend after that. But it feels like somebody here is in the midst of digging up more information. Maybe you don't have all the details, and maybe you need to observe the situation first, or possibly that might be the reason the Tower is here, because you wouldn't move. You wouldn't get out of this Page of Swords in the reverse energy where you had all the information, but you wouldn't take action. So let's go into the extended. That's where I'll be if you'd like to be there. If this is where we leave each other, that's cool, but I'll be back because I'm always back. See you in the extended if that's where you're going to be. All right, gonna go for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.